I'm sure there will be questions, and thank you very much for this firework display of ideas. I think it's very impressive and very interesting. Somebody wants to take the first few questions?
So this is about the installation that we saw in the other room. Okay. So about the first test.
This was the second.
Public installation.
This was the second instance.
Oh, okay.
The first one was back in my college, and it was a bit of live thing. Mm-hmm. Here it is mostly simulated with an inventory of sounds which you could, compose and like mix basically, and to create an interior acoustic space. So.
And did you collect feedback from the participants? Or?
Back there, I got fuzzy, sporadic responses, not very in a format like to fill up some questionnaire. But yeah, I mean, it basically the thought was we could. How do you plan to take this forward? I mean, it's okay. This fine. The installation is working good on a prototype level, but how do you want to take it forward? So that was basically the feedback or the question basically which I got.
And how did you answer? No, I'm curious too. How do you plan to bring it forward?
As I said in the demonstration also, I mean, if we have to take this forward, then we could think of a sort of inventory of soundscape from a lot of other locations, and then we could try streaming basically soundscape from one place to another place. So basically cross-cultural context. I mean, if I'm in India and I want to say hear sounds of somewhere around other corner of the world, then maybe I could. I mean, just such sort of things do exist. I mean, but just providing them a systemic base to. So that's how I could possibly take this forward. But I think presentation to such an audience does give me an opportunity to think how can I take this forward. So I mean, I'm very fuzzy about what could. I mean, how it could go forward. So.
I was wondering one thing, because of your interest in let's say a cyber future, and also the way you do your presentation in a very typologically interesting way. Have you already, or are you planning to work to integrating your sound installations with, for example, poetry, generative poetry, perhaps, and the hyperarchitecture as in game engine?
Yeah, exactly. I mean. That was the thought. I mean, how to adopt the game narrative. So in the sonic narrative, I mean, drawing analogs between the game narrative and the sonic narrative. So yeah, we could, like, the whole thing is that this investigation should really connect in parallel with the developments that are happening across other narrative structures. So like you said, the hyperarchitecture. I mean, so how could we see that it also gets a space in those investigations. The investigation on sonic narrative gets a space in investigation on hyperarchitecture. So I think I got the people confused a little bit.
I don't know.
How many people feel confused?
Feeling confused? I always feel confused.
Yeah, I wanted to.
Natural state to be. Any more questions for Siddhant?
I just wondered if everybody didn't see it, maybe he can give a quick explanation.
No, they saw.
Everybody saw it?
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
I mean, he was not there while I exhibit. Like,
explain just quickly. I wonder what the installation actually is.
Yeah. So basically, yeah. I mean, it's the manifestation of the thought that I'm trying to investigate here. That I'm trying to give a sort of, like, we can really fiddle around with the interior visual design. I mean, we could do things to the interior visual design, but if it comes to interior sonic design, I mean, we could think that, okay, we can install speakers and then we can have music or whatever. But I'm thinking it on a level of giving a participation to the person who is in that space to create his own mix of soundscape from different sources, which could be generative or real artificial, or because here it was basically the soundscapes which are recorded, so they were real things. So basically a sort of providing an interface to create your own interior sound design, basically, to put it in very simple terms. It might not be very advanced or very new per se, but I mean,
I think that's it's still in there, right?
Yeah.
The game also Rennick anybody can always take a peek, an audio peek into it at the end of the day. So thank you very much, Siddhant, for the presentation. And we have